Pashtus Advarim is that is mevar the Indian. Oh, this is in bevil doch zugehen. What's the dark of the Eitzel Ma'ila? So them sagt that recently Kunezer the Erin Sotamala the Keslamata the Tachos speakers mevar that there's three in Yonim here. Erin Sof is Mein Amor. The Eir is Blikvol. It's at the Vasa the Eir Blikvol because the Eir is the Eir Mein Amor. Now Zevi the Etzem is Ein Sof. So there also the Eir which is the Spashtus Vigili Etzem is Ein Sof. And that's one Indian. Then there is the Indian of Lamata Mata in Tachlis is that not only the Eid itself is ain't safe, but the Eid is Nimshach Lamata. The Eid is Nimshach and Elamis Luchor are not ain't Elamis are Gvul. And even the way Eid, first of all, the Eid is Nimshach Lamata Mata. And the way Nimshach Lamata Mata is in Eifen of his Spashtus Vigilit. And it's even in Welt is there's a Gili of the Blikvul of the Eid. The Ein Sof of the Eid is also Meir and Mizgali in Welt. And Kamei Fana, if you were speaking to the Sifin before, Kamei Fana, there's the Gili her Ein Sof in Welt. There's enough Blikvul in his Havas. The very fact that even in Dargis Achitachtenis, Veismer from the Meibish, there's Gili Lakus, even if how much they know is Be'efin Mugbal. But the fact that there's this Galas Lakus, even B'makam Achin Nomo, that's Nevem, it's at the Ein Sof of the Eid. Kaplan, so there's this Galas Blikvul Acharat Simsim. So that's an Ilay Neis of the Gabi Innovating stuff. Innovating stuff is Mitzadatzme is that there's this Etzem Velikos, and that's does state this Pashas. Erin Yon is Gilei Amar. So the fact that the Eir is Blikvul in a certain sense is nicht as a Chiddush for the Gabi Dem that even in Welt is Meir is Blikvul. Because Erin Yon is there's no other mitzvahs outside of the Mar. In Yon is Gilei Amar. Since in Yon is Gilei Amar, so the Eir is Ein Sof. Since Koli has no mitzvahs, his whole Indian is this Pashtus Etzem. The Meir the Eir is Blikvul. But the fact that even Lamata Mati, even in Eilamis, which in Yonim is mitzvahs, even there is mispashet the Blikvul of the Eir. That's a Ilay Neisef. But Neisef to the fact that the Eir himself is Ein Sof, which the Eir Kol in Yon is Gilei Amar. But Neisef lezeh, even with the Eir Kumtan Lamata Mata, the Eir Kumtan in Welt, and nicht Tamaz in Welt, Lamata Mata, and even with the Eir Kumtan in Welt, is Nizgal is Ein Sof. That's a Ilay Neisef. So lefi zeh lamala mala adin kes, which is nacha hecherin from lamata mata adin tachlis, is a higher, is nacha ilu. So the common problem. So what's the pshat lamala? First of all, lamata mata means that the air literally extends itself lamata. What's the pshat lamala mala adin kes? That the air extends itself lamala. What's the pshat in there? And what's the ilu? Legabi the Indian of lamata mata adin tachlis, and legabi the Indian of air and self mitzadatis. So then the Rebbe Mevar the lukud lamala mala adin kes is the Indian is almus. The fact that there's the Indian of his almus air, that's an ilu neisef in there. The Eir Mitzadatz Me'inyani is Gili Amar. The fact that the Indian of Eir could be an Eifen of his Almos, that is Mitzadash, because the Eir is Mis'ale to the Etzem, which is Lamayla Minin Agili, and Lamayla Minin Eir. Hedra Eir v'Hedra Agili. The Indian of his Almos is that that the Eir is Mis'ale to the Etzem, which there, you're Mushlo from the Gdorim of Eir and Mushlo from the Gdorim of Gili. That's the Lamayla Ma'adad Miketz. So the first thing that Rebbe spoke is Etzem Minav Almos. The Skal is Batzmus Eich Mulashibah Chazrim. The Etzem Minav Skal we'll see later in the Hemsh in the Maamar Nocha per Pratim in them. But the Etzem Minav that is Almos is not a Yerida. It's Almos is Nevem. It's the fact that the air is an Eifen of a Skalus in the Etzem. So that's an Neveya. So the fact that the air is an Eifen of a Almos, that's mitzad the fact that the air is Misale to the it should be the air the way it is Kogul Be'etzem. Okay. But here, Vom Halten we're holding by reading the Teres Rav Magid. So the Pashtus Advarim is first of all the etzem Indian that the air could be in the Eifen of his almos. That's alin is a uftu. That's alin is an ilu. Even before this is sof of the Magid, the very fact that the air could come in the Eifen of his almos, that's an ilu. That's connected to ilu acherid. But here the Rebbe likes to nachaber that the Hemshach Asif the Fidik Rebbe brings that the kavanas at tzimtzum is the shul agilu. So that's it on the Rebbe like we started inside last time. I don't remember where we. Start again. Mavar shehelim zel lebe even shurak behelim in shaykh legili share gishuris. Which that alone would also be an ilinesa. That the helim is an even that the air could be an even of his almos. And said gather the air. The inyani is gili amor. So if his gather if inyani would be just the elokus comes begilui. Gili has gedar and gili and in of gili cannot be an even of his almos. So the fact that the air could be an even of his almos is that the air is not inyani is not just that inyanim of that the etzem comes begilui. Erin Yani is that the etzem kameshu batzmusid. The mitzvah in the etzem that's nirgash, and that's misbat in the fact that the air state besamas. It doesn't get it less than. But that's a union that the air state behelim. He says right there that the helim is a lady even shirak behelim. Vein shaykh legili shergishu oise, but the helim is naif in that is shaykh legili. Let's get the level in varza. Let us enter the magid. Can move in teres magid. But in the teres pages balischa. So what steht the magid? Steht in pasuk asel lecha shtei chatzis kesef. So the Magid is mevayer that chatzeitzes u shtei chatzeitzes. So there's two tzuras and two chatzai tzuras. And when we yachid the two chatzai tzuras, there's ein tzura. And that's the Indian of Adam. What's the pshat Adam? The dam is the dibur machshava or the dibur ma'isa. So that is the Adam lamata. The Adam lamata is merum is in the AC is dam. It's dibur machshava. And das ist the Indian of Adam lamata. That's the dam. But adain in the Adam shalom. When the Shloime was nasa shalom and akadeshim is chaber ma'alef. Which what's the alef? The Eibush the elokus aluf shalayla. So jeder elokus misadatz me is a chotzi tzura. Alef levad. The person misadatz me via steht meretach nicht der Mensch wie is not with the neshama is musha shnei masayena. The Adam lamata. The Adam lamata the way he is in the neshama lubish beguf. That's also a chetzi. That's a chetzi tzura. Dafke the yichud of both elokus with the Adam lamata. This is the equation dafke denken the Adam lamata. So then the Adam ashalom. So what's the kavan? What's the in of nasa Adam? We so machen shtei chatzitzes. What's the nekuda of taking of chatzitzes? There's one eifin is elokus is ve'el masayena, or the way the neshama is ve'el masayena. That's not the shleima se'inyan of Adam. Nish das the kavan. The kavan, and then there is the mitzias Adam lamata. The mitzias Adam lamata mitzad the way he is mitzad mitziyosei is an eifin that is mitzias neshama mulubish beguf. The guf is a mitzias, and which is not the hesim telekus, not the hesim to bittul telekus. The kavanah is to take the Adam lamata and to be mechaber to Thalakus. There should be the ischabrus of the Adam with Thalakus, which the Yamot Vertus Adam Hashalom. Yeah, that's the Nukodia. And you have the Moshe, he says, Mitzad Ein Sof Shlif, Mitzad is Galus Ein Sof, was Dr. is a Loi HaYamakal Amid Seilams. Etzem is Ein Sof, Mitzad is Galus Etzem, there's no Tfizas Maga for a Mitzis. Mitzad Inin of Gilik, Mitzad Atzmei, Kenesh Zayin, Inin of Adam. Adam lamata is he's not, there is another Mitzis. And his magish is mitzias. There's his the way the neshama is melubish beguf. There is hergish mitzias. It's not an eifin of there's no musig of mitzias. The way the alien stuff is living at since from Malay Hayim not going to be the same. There's a mensch was gefällt sich dort elam hazi. His magish is mitzias, and the kavan. So mitzad the imatzav of alien stuff living at since is not shaykh as this Indian of Adam. The kavan is but that the Adam lamata via is a mitzias and should be neschaber with elding with holocaust. That's so sagt er. Und wie wird ich nasse? Wie kommt das vor? Wie wird es that the Adam lamata should be in a schaber with her? So in other words, the shaila is, it touches up later, but the shaila said the shaila is manavshach. If mitzad is galus ein sof, you want the Adam should be mechuber with lamayim. Not that one of them should be cancelled. You have a simple way. You could take the fana mensch, machen him eis mensch. So then that's not the nekuda of chibur. The nekuda of chibur is that each one mitzad atzma is not nishlam inyan, he's a chetzi, and that through chibur shneim yachad vert the Indian shalom. So you have a lukus, and the lukus is via lukusis, and you have the Adam, the way the Adam is, and they're mechuber. So the chorah, the shayla is wie kommt das vor? Mitzad the Eden of shlifnat simsum, it's in a eifin of loy hayamakol amid the seilus. So herz of the ein sof of the lukus. Mitzad the fact that it ain't sof, there's no necessary song for mitzis. There's no necessary song for something which is not a lukus, a mitzis of a zulas which is outside of a lukus. And there's in the mitzad there's amos, there's in the smuggle for a mitzis. So then that mitzis cannot be mechuber with aleph. Someone said, wie kommt das vor? Der Magid, Maamar as the Shas HaKadosh Baruch Hu tzumim harbe. Kama evnis. Bis shemagia ad shenimshach ad ha'olam. From tzumim harbe, bis that a lukus should be be'erach, so to speak, to a person. What's the mechuber of this? Kedei sheyasa adam achtas HaKadosh Baruch Hu. The lashon is there should be this al l'mayla. What's the lashon over there? Sheyale derech kol ha'ilmas v'yachtas HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Not they should be. You have one eif and there's tzumim harbe. Let's say. And then, I think the Rebbe says it also, I remember now, but the Rebbe brings it later in the Hemshech. But you have one eifin is that there's some tzumim harbe. The regular Moshe of Rav Thomas. The Rav is Sichli, is Bein Arich, higher than the Talmud. Talmud's in a much lower dargah, so that from Mitzamtzin is and then you give the Talmud, Chitzein is the Kenyana from the Seichel Rav. But then the Talmud is not misached with the Rav, Kameshehu. There, the alien lowers himself down to the Tachten. So it's not a chibur of the Talmud with the Rav. The Rav Mehusei is Sichli Atmi of the Rav is Shlei Be'erach higher than the Talmud. The Seichel with the Rav versteht is Shlei Be'erach the Talmud will verstehen. That's from Mitzamtzim saying. So what does the Talmud get? The Inin Lefi Erke. So Inin Lefi Erke is not a chibur of the Talmud of the Makabel with the alien. The alien lowers himself down to suit himself to the Tachten. It's not a chibur. The Maggid says that the Eibusha Ose Kamen zum Summen. Wollte doch sein mechuber mit der Menschen. Ose Kamen zum Summen bichdei she ischaber im Adam, and not a Lekus mit ischaber with Adam, the way Lekus is mit Sumze. The Lekus is the Adam she is ala l'mayla. But not Adam she is ala l'mayla is a very eis guf. It should be only neshama. That's also not the kavan. It's the Adam lamata, and she is ischaber with Lekus. The Lekus is l'mayla. That's the brings it. So he says, "Mizem move on." Kedishas adam achtas makdish baruch. He says, "Mizem move on." Shatzimtzum im labim, which is in of helam acher helam. Aber tachas ekavana, eini sheishar that tzimtzum ve'elam is ki'im sheyovayu v'yumashchu lamata, lamakim she'adam nimsa. Means elikuz lo onkumen. To lamakim she'adam nimsa. Ube'efen sheyifalu gam al adam, means on the chelik atachten shebei, on his lower chelik, that he should the air should be pale on them. And in other words, the way it is lamayla is it has no doesn't relate to dam, doesn't relate to adam lamata. So that is their sprach. Lo hayamakim lamid selens. There is a common avek from helavet simtzum and eifin that should be it should be pale on the dam and the chelik atachten shebei. Was sollen sie pale sein? Es soll verna yesh, es almost it should be a mitzias which dort in herzach and shalokos. What the kavanah is she's chabru ma'alef makadosh baruch hu. Ubiyachad yeh oz lechat tzayit sur es el yeh adam. Tzarich lifol kol kach. She'adam tzarich lifresh es atzim mikol hagashmi shalei v'yalem milmata l'mayla ashem sachel l'makadosh baruch hu. Just learn 2 lines. Shemizen nire shalamayla adin ketz ein yinyari shu helam she'eni shayach l'makom shalei misal. That's the shlut. Not the pshat is that the earth can stay in the of his almos that the gilui, the mokim, the way it is behergish hamakavah. The way first way you understand it, one Indian in helam is the air naturally is his mitzias in a place is in the fact that he's nirgash over there, that he's made, that he's expressed. The ufta of helam is the air could be in a place in a eifin that the gilui herzach is there. I mean, he's not expressed in the place that he's in. But then the air is taken nimtza ba'isei mokim, but not on a eifin that he shaykh is to that the mokim should be margishim, and that's an uftu. The fact that the lakus could be beis almos, that means it could be present without being expressed. That's an illegal ma'it. There's an Indian nifla in that Indian. But nish wegen dem retzach when we speak about helam acher helam. It's not only this Indian that a lakus, the air could be an eifin of being present without being nirgash. So noch mehr different. So it says not only that the Ma'alin says Indian shu helam she'eni shayich lamakom shavei misalim. What's the first eifin? The first eifin is the air is nimtza, but he's not nirgash in the makom. That means that the makom has no shaychestim. And the uftu is hagam the makom has no shaychestim. After the king is present there. If the earth's gather was gilui, so it can sich nur gefunden in a platz which is be'erachim. You say a seichel is going to be a seichel in yani is verstand, to understand seichel. And was besteht that seichel is nimtza. The meich adam the meich understands it. You say you have seichel is there, but it's not understood. It's a tarti disaster. Every mitzias has what's besteht the fact that he exists. What's his presence has certain dharm. Okay, he's not just present because the fact that he decided to be here. He's present in this place means that this place, his inyan is there. So what's that his inyan is there? The inyan as seichel is a ma'imeyach. What's meint das? As ma'imeyach versteht it, was seichel. Can't you just sagen, the inyan is there, but the meyach is not behesem to the inyan. If the meyach is not behesem to the inyan, then the seichel is not there. So the fact that if gidrei was gili means that in yani is as the herzach, that his inyan is expressed. So if his inyan is not expressed in a certain makim, in other words, it means that he's not there. If gedrei is gili. The fact that the air could be in a eifin, that even though the makim is shalei behesem to the air, the makim is not margish the his in. After again he's present, the air is nimtza, and eifin of his almos, that's a ilay nifla. But nish nor does the zach on the ma'ala the ketz. Says the ma'ala the ketz is enish she'eni shayach lamakim. El shenases achdus. The adam is the makim. The adam lamata is in a eifin. That's a herzach nishtolukus. It's herzach zayin mitzias. There's a mitzias of a person, and he's margish mitziusay. It's not in a matzah of eirus of shlifnei tzimtzum. And through the fact that there comes bis amos was wird aufgetan that he's misachid with that mokim. That mokim with the ganze mitzvahs in the mokim wird mitzad dem. Was der herzach nicht der lukus, the fact that there are mitzvahs von a mention, which is not bottle, there that mitzvah should be misachid with the earth. Who ba'efim pnimi at sha'ad and perish as mikol hagashmis ve'elu l'mayla misachid l'makadosh baruch.
What's nirgash?
Oh, let's see one word. There's 2 ifanim here. Maybe I'll mention the ilm is bekannt with the Sichen Chayisar, Chelikei, is bekannt with them a bissel. But the Rebbe brings there that Sichen Chayisar, the Rebbe brings there a mashal, that there is 3 ifanim in the Rebbe brings first a mashal, Pasha Negai, and then the Rebbe speaks the Indian moral Maila. But in the mashal, the Rebbe speaks that there's 3 ifanim, a person's yachas to a place. If you have a person that is in the sviva of Yerushalayim, a chveis of Torah, and then he was also given good. And then when he goes to Amakim, when he goes to a sviva that's not a place of Yerushalayim, a sviva which the vibe of the sviva is heipach Torah mitzvahs. So there brings 3 efanim how the person was gefinzach in their sviva is not mushbar from the sviva. One ifin is that a person by nature is affected by the sviva. The gather of Adam is that the makav that you're in, Adam is mushpa from the sviva that he's in. He's not going to be mushpa from it because he's going to be misgaber, even though it's a teva, which naturally he should have been affected by the place. But a person could be misgaber over that Indian and not let himself be affected by the place that he's in. But be'etzim, it's at Geder Advarim, he's in a matzah which the Sviva should affect it. That's the Ein Eifin. That's not part of the equation there. Then the Rebbe speaks two other Eifan. Second Eifin is that the person is Amisr Dveg, that he's not, he's moved the Legani from his Sviva. He's in a different world. The Mensch is in a place, and his world is learning and davening, and Chatchili, he has no relation to the place. He's Chatchili Namisar. He's in a higher, he's in a Hechra Eifin. That's a second. And the third Eifin is, he doesn't have to remove himself from the place that he's in. He could be misached with these people, but it's not going to affect him because his tchuna is, or wherever he is, he's mahabach that tzviva should become like him. That's in the mashal. But in the Mishnah, in the Nimshal, the Rebbe speaks to get that by tzaddikim, by Mesha in leinas leichei, that his guf, there was no yevashus in his guf. Leinas leichei, even apiteva, the guf has to goes through certain shinuim. But Mesha Rabbeinu, there was no, the guf didn't go through shinuim. There's a Baisara, it says that all of her whole life was shav in the table. She didn't have shinu, there was no shinu. Zebra speaks to you. You have a neshama. The neshama, let's say, you have a neshama, which the neshama is not the geder shinu. The guf, the geder guf is a davaramishtani. The guf is a basar badam, is a davaramishtani. He gets old, he gets wrinkled. The Rebbe speaks also in Aveda. The guf is pale, the shabinin of nisinas makom lechet. Mensch kommt up of their welt, nisinas makom lechet. Heipech halakus. The neshama mitzad atzma is moved from the whole inyan of chet and shinui. The neshama mitzad atzma is in of the bligvul. The neshama mitzad atzma. So you have two efanim. There is mechalek between Moshe and Sarah. Two efanim. How the neshama was, how the viat the neshama pelg ben afim guf. There says by Moshe Rabbeinu was this galus of the makav of his neshama, chinas chaya of his neshama, the dark of his neshama that's higher than shaychus the guf. Let's say the ein sof of his neshama. Shas the herz after the ein sof of the neshama, the guf werd nisbatel. Moshe Rabbeinu the upta was that the regular person, what's Meir, even tzaddikim, what's Meir in their guf is a darg of the neshama that's lefi erech haguf. The mele, the guf, so the neshama is affected by the shnei haguf. Mashika Moshe Rabbeinu was for a darg that Meir given by zayin neshama, the level, the darg of the neshama that's higher than having a shaykhas to the guf. The bleak of the neshama. Shas the herz of the bleak of the neshama, the guf is misbatel. It's saying we speak of it. If you want, two ways of being. What would the way of Moshe Rabbeinu people also me'achad zayin a nibur with holocaust. So one way is when it's mer the bleak of holocaust, the gvul is misbatel. Shas herzach ein sof. So what happens? Shas ein sof is mer. So the mitzias so'elam vert eis. So al derech Moshe Rabbeinu, since what was mer in his guf? Now there's pratim them just in beifin clothing. What was mer in his guf? The darg of the neshama, the way it's higher than his slapshas, the bleak of the neshama. Shas mer the bleak of the neshama, the gvul of the guf is misbatel. It ceases to exist. So and al derech zeh, so you have an elkom. You want it, how are you going to connect? There's a mitzias of a velt. How are you going to be guided that the velt should be bottled to the should be connected to the So one way is mitzad this galus ein over the earth. There's no sinus magam from mitzias. So b'shas the mer der blikvol vert this battle the gvul velt. Mitzad seichol let's say there's no sinus magam for svaras heipech holocaust. Mitzad midas of a person can sein kach v'kach. B'shas the mer the amun of the nesham. B'shas the mer the blikvol of the nesham or the area leki which is not movable. So the gabi blikvol gvul vert this battle. And then the mitzias there's no sinus magam from mitzias. That's one even. Nicht das Rätsel. Then there's no chibur of the aleph of the dam. Then it's about eis mitzias. Eis daram mitzias. There says Sarah we find, and Sarah on one hand we say that she had a stage in her life that there was shinui. Bosi, her guf was there was shinui in her guf. And but later, Chazra, she went back to the Narusa. Means also the Gabichet. We say that bas kufka bas chof lechet. Means she did Lepayel. We say bas kufka bas chof lechet. But agam that Lepayel was a matzav of a titzchok that there wasn't a sin talking lechet. Now like the Gabi Meisha where the chatchila is guf. The whole musik that a guf could be in a ifin of his smoking for mitzias was misvatel. By starting we see there was a regular guf. It was a guf that said his geder is shayach shenuyim, and after it became that this guf itself was built in Mishnah. The quote that Rebbe touches with there is that the third eifin, that you have an eifin where a person gefindt sich in a sviva, he's misached with that sviva, means he comes lefi the gedorim of that sviva, and b'yachad him zeh tutuv that sviva should become like him. Yeah, I bring a mashal, understand you have the mashal that you say one of the Biur Mechsidis when you get to Maamar in Minamida. So on one hand you say was a makam Masayim v'chetzi arke. It was a limited. The Arin had a certain shetach. It was a certain makam Masayim v'chetzi. And b'yachad zeh, the Arin wasn't Teves makim. The gather of makim is that it should take up space, and then the Kedesh Kedashim is a certain 20 amas there. There should have been 10 amas filled by the makam Arin. L'payil makam Arin any minamida. So what's the pshat? L'payil, you have one eifin is you have l'mayla min hamakim. He's higher than makim. A svara is not has nothing to do with the shetach of the adamas. That can't be a makim. You have one eifin, but he's mugder the fact that his Indian is that he has no makim. B'meila shteit l'mayla min hamakim. You have a second eifin is that something that's mugder a makim. It's not chazak. Mugder a makim. So he has his akbalas. You have a 30. Makim eifin minimida is that mitzad the blikval of the lakus is nazar eifin that he's not mugbal. That his Ein Sof has to be dafkin a tzir of l'mayla min hamakim. He could come into his Ein Sof could be also in a tzir of makim. That's makim on edim min amida. So in such a eifin, on one hand you say there's makim here. There's a what's the whole ufto of this Ein Sof? That he's not limited dafke to be in a eifin. Zayin inyan is not muchrach in order for his inyan to be. It has to be daf in a tzir of l'mayla min hamakim. Even in a tzir of makim, not in a tzir, not that it can be hidden. There's makim there, but this makim is not Teves makim. This makim gufa is what does it express? That the Eibusher is not limited. So they bring out the fact that the Eibusher is not limited. You don't need to have a tnua of bittul makim, no makim. You want to bring out a different inyan. That even what's in yonei apnimi of makim to express that the Eibusher's blig vol is not limited to be dafkan eifin of bli makim. It can his Ein Sof could also be in a tzir of makim. That's not the Kovetz Almas. Kovetz Almas is that he could be present even though he's not nervous. So that you could have makim, and the makim is going to be in a eifin that he's like ballis of makim. Not makim are any minamida. There's makim, and the makim is limited. And after the you say the could be present even in a place which is not behesim to him. The could be beis almas. That's not makim are any minamida. According to this beer is not that the could be an eifin of beis almas. That was, but what's the yonei apnimi of the makim? The makim is not a stiratain. So why is the makim not a stiratain? So how is the makim itself any minamida? You see, you have something which is the get. If it's an amma long, so that means in gidrei is an amma. How could it not be tevis makim? Because there's what's in yonei apnimi of this amma? What's the not an amma to bring out that l'maylam that the Eibusher's Ein Sof could also be an eifin of makim. So what's in yonei apnimi of the makim to express the takeif hablik vul of the malam makim? So the Rebbe says negate to Sarah. Meir the Gemara. The Rebbe says negate to Sarah. Why is it that b'meshach her life, b'meisha b'enu the nekuda was the air is what the fact that meisha b'enu there was no shinuim in his guf the nas leiche was das areis gebracht that the neshama is blikvul and b'shat the blikvul is meir there's no guf but this battle get the guf a regular guf has shinuim meisha b'enu's guf was a keli to blikvul meir was battle but that didn't Sarah was different. We want to bring out that the neshama is Ein Sof is not limited that it only has to be expressed where there's no mitzias. In Yoni opinion of Metzias is to bring out the takeif on neshama. That even if the neshama dvigas the lakus is ad kedei kach nazash tarka eifin that even if he's going to identify himself with the elam hazadik life kaviyach, arayin kumen naguf and it'll be misyachesh to the guf, and there's going to be shinuyim. Those shinuyim gufa the pnimius in Yonim is to bring out that the nitzchis of the neshama, the head of the shinuyim of the neshama, is not limited to be in a eifin where there's no shinuyim. You heard the meaning.
It's called Heller. It's still called Heller Gili because.
I want to bring out the word, so I'm saying the Rebbe is saying here al derech as asur word. Yeah, the Rebbe is saying is what's the pshat? The air comes beis almos. That means the air comes in the eifin. Shalei behestem linon. The air so that means bleakful. The poil the air is mitzam so mitzaverta mensha mugbul. A person which is gvul and the person which is shalei lefi erech. The person is not like there. And what's the kavanah said tzimtzum that through all these tzumim, the air which comes with tzimtzum in Yoni is the Rebbe says even the tzimtzumim. What's in Yonim of the tzimtzumim to uftan that the adam kfi shehu lamata should be neschaber with hologos. Means what's in Yoni apnimi of the tzimtzum to bring out that the Ein Sof of the air is not limited to the tzir of blik vol. Even in Yoni apnimi of gvul is to express blik vol. That's a different meaning. In Yoni apnimi of the dam is to be neschaber with the adam. Not that we're mafshid ourselves from the tzir of gvul. There is gvul, and what's in Yoni apnimi of this gvul? Not a lukus, not a richa from a lukus. To bring out that a lukus is not mugbal to be dafkin a tzir of blig vol, the ain't sof can echashtening vol. So it's the chibur of the aleph with the dam. Alerach yaseh b'negei tamakar any min amida. What's the beer? With the Rebbe's mavar there in that sikh. If you remember the sikh, it's a very. With the Rebbe's mavar, there's a lot of present there. I'm saying it's an important sikh there. But one of the things the Rebbe says there is, when I'm saying not this marshal, but the Rebbe says this. B'negei tamakar any min amida. What are we saying? The Aron was a Masayim v'chetzi. You have two Eifanim to understand, three Eifanim, let's say, to understand that there should be the Bittul HaMakim. One Eifan is, Ein Sof is higher than Gedr Makim. And if B'shas Ein Sof is Meir, Verdnes Batal Makim, unless. The Mayim is Mugder that it cannot be Kechayma. When Ein Sof is Meir, Verdnes Batal, the Hagbalas of the Vasser. Then you don't bring out in Yoni Aprimi of Gvul is Ein Sof. Gvul is a stira to bli Gvul. B'shas the Herzach, the Ein Sof, Verdnes Batal the Gvul. That's one Eifan. Another Eifan is that what's the Nikud of Elokus coming in Gvul, that Elokus could be Beis Almas. The Bligvul doesn't have to express himself, he could be in a Bahaltan of it. That's another Eifan. That's the regular Musik of Hell. That's also Indian Eifan. Then you have a third Indian, Sefarang Gvul. And what's the Yoni Aprimi of the Gvul? You say, there's Makim. You say there's no Makim. The Arden Beferish had a Midah Bashir, how big the Arden was. So there is Makim. Le'idach, if in Yoni of this Makim was Gvul, if in Yoni was not Ein Sof, in Yoni was Gvul, then he had to be Teves Makim. You have a Metzias that he has, his Shetach is a meter. If his in Yoni is a Makim, it means a Shetach v'Masayim, Behechrich is going to be Teves Makim. How can it be in a Eifin that he's a Masayim v'Chetzi and he's not Teves any Makim in the Mishkan, in the Kedesh Kedoshim? That's a target disaster. So what's the Havana that there's Makim there? And B'Yachadim Zeh, the Makim is not, doesn't have that quality of Makim. So because in Yoni of that Makim is not Gvul. In Yoni of that Gvul is to bring out that the Ein Sof V'Lukus is not limited, that his Inyan has to be Dafkan Eifin of the Gvul. It's Ken Zang Gvul, and that should also be Lamalam. And that should also be a BT of Ein Sof.
That's not similar to the end of the Mathematat in Teves?
No, Martin is something else. There's expressed Bligvul. Martin is there's a Nekuda where there's a window to Ein Sof. Even though there's a Savos, there's a Nekuda in his Savos where we disregard the Gvul, and the Bligvul is made. That's something else. Here we're saying, I'm saying, the Makim is Einim and Amida. Not that there's something else made over here. Every single inch of the Mish of the Arden, which on one hand it was an inch, on the other hand it didn't have the Gdanim of an inch. So you can't say there's something else being made, but this shouldn't be Teves Makim. If in Yoni is an inch, is Gvul, then the gather of Gvul is that it's Teves Makim. You're saying that Ein Sof does not limit it that it has the expressions of Dafkin a tzir of Shlila. There could be a Metzias, and the Teichen Primi of that Metzias is the to bring out the Shloime Sabligvul of Elokus that he could even be in a tzir of Metzias. His Inyan could express himself in a form of Metzias. Means that Bittul Talakus is not limited, that has to be Dafkin a tzir. Where there's no Metzias, it can come in a tzir from Metzias, and what's in Yonei Aprimi of that Metzias, the same Bittul Talakus than Hedra Metzias is. That's not. L'maylam and Amakim could be in a tzir of Makim. How do you understand by Makim and Nemi? If it's the Maylam and Amakim, so there shouldn't be a Masayim B'chesi. There should be no Makim. See, if there is Makim, so what's the pshat? We want to bring out the L'maylam and Amakim is not limited to be in a tzir of Shlilas Amakim. His Indian he's not limited to be in that form. He could come in a form of Makim, but not now. I'm saying you say the words. It's the wrong word to say. He comes in a form of Makim. What's in Yoni of the Makim? To bring out the take if a blig vul of the Malam and Makim. That even when he's in a tzir of Makim, his Indian can be expressed through that tzir too. If you have you don't have the sichel there. There's a lashon there. No, so I'm saying. So the Rebbe says here that. What's the tzimtzum? Tzimtzum means that the comes in a tzir of his alms. That's what we're saying over here. Let's say the naturally, mitzat his natural Indian is the hulavad. There's no nissan song for a mitzvah. Elam has is a world that mitzat the gather of dam, the adam lamata. There is a nissan song for a mitzvah. You're speaking about the person is not a mitzvah that in Yoni is ain't sof. In Yoni is that there's only the Eibush there. He has a mitzvah and he feels himself. So the shaila is where's that neveh from? That's neveh because the comes in a ifan of tzimtzum. But we hate Suchander Market because the Kavana is Mevila is bringing that the dam should be neschaber with Aleph. That means that even Adam Lamata should be mechuber with the Adam Alien, with a Lukus. Wie kommt das vor? So wie kommt das vor is to datzim tzumim. But what's the Kavana of this tzumim? She'avayu v'yimashchol lamata lamakim sha'adam nimtza. They should come to the makim Buddha mentions. That means a makim, a tzir where there's in a makim to mitzias. Not the makim of lifnei tzimtzum. A makim that is in a makim to mitzias. But by even sheyifalu on the Adam that he should be mischaber. So what's the pshat in them? On one hand, they relate to the gvul, but in Yonim is not. So what do you mean? There is ain't sof. But the kavana is that even in a tzir of makim, a person in a tzir, he has a mayach, let's say, which means that the nature of this mayach he can be nisim das Ava became the seichel is going to come to the recognition that ain't Movad. What's the word in them? You have makim, but the makim Adam Lamata, which mitzat tivay, l'chora to gedaft man and I know mitzvahs makom mitzvahs. This mitzvahs will be his whole inyan will be a lukus. Viva design. So they asked me to get to makom arim. You have that there's a makim, but this makim is not Teves makim. Wie kann man verstehen as Asa? There's a what's the pshat chibur of makim and malam makim? That means in yani apnim of the makim is not makim. In yani apnim of the makim is to express the bleak vul of the malam makim. That's in yani apnim that he can even be and be expressed in a ifin of makim. He doesn't have to express himself in a way of shlidas makim. He could be in a tzir of makim too. I'm saying the lashon the Rebbe says here. What's the kavanah said Simpson? Not that the earth should be in a ifin of his almas. Means they should relate to the tzir of the makom wie the adam is. Uber Eifens is on pale saying that the adam kfishu in this tzir she is chaber im alef. Warte, she yetsim migashmiyus. You say bechitzeni. Someone's going to look at the makom and the artist is going to see Amasayim v'chitzi. What are you going to see Amasayim v'chitzi? You're going to just see if you don't see the whole full picture of makom elim and amida. What are you going to see when you look at the artist, which is Amasayim? You're going to see space. When you look at the whole picture, you see that Inyane Aprimi is not space. Inyane Aprimi is that the fact that a Lakus is Lamalam and Amakim could be present in Makim. Makim could be one with his Ein Sof. That's a different Indian. Means the Makim could also be Lamalam and Amakim. That's what I was saying over here also. We're not saying that Mitzad Gili Ein Sof, there's no Metzias. There's no a Metzias of a person which Mitzad the Tchuna of a person's Maya. There could be a Sasmang Tasvara, Hepech Habital Tolkos. That's what type of person. That's what type of mitzias the person is. That type of mitzias you don't have to live in that simcha. And mitzad erin sof s'nishtaz azach ein loy hayamakom lamidas elamis. Here we're taking a person which mitzad tziyura mitzad the mitzias of this person is in the smakom lemitzias. Or pervaz vilman as a bleiben a mensch which should be in the smakom lemitzias, or this person mitzad his mitzias. There's in the smakom lemitzias. In yani is to bring out the Eibishter's ain't safe. That there's nothing else besides for him. Who should say there's ain't safe? The person. What's taka the pshat? The pshat is because in Yoni Apnimi, the fact that there's an Asmakam Limitzias is to express the head ragbal of the air. That it could even be in a tzir, that his ain't stuff could be expressed even in a tzir of a Mitzias.
You're still changing the teichin of Makam.
Vada, you change the teichin of the Makam.
So, something that...
I'm saying, but it's a chiddush that got lifnat. It's a chiddush that got lifnat tzimtzum.
The Gidri Makam is looking changed also. This is not anymore the Gidri Makam.
Vada, no, wait, no, it's not. The Frag Rashayla. You asked what's the pshat difference between Gashrish? Yeah. I'm saying, look at the tzir of Maamar Edim Ben Amida. Is it no midah? If it's no midah, then it shouldn't be Amasayim v'chitz. There shouldn't be Amas over there. There is Amas. A Amma has the gather that has to be Teves Makim. The gather of an Amma is mitzad the tzir of an Amma that has to be take up a certain amount of space in Kodesh HaKadosh. Could you have something which is an Amma long? And B'yachad say it's not Teves Makim. It makes sense to say such a thing. B'chol or not. But does the event the Makim Aaron was Makim? What's Chassidus Mevar? Because what was in Yoni Apnimi of the Makim? You could have two ways of looking at Makim. One way is it's Tam, it's Gvul. Or what's the Gvul? The whole Nikud of the Gvul is to bring out that the Ein Sof of a Lakus is not limited to be in a Eifin in a Tzir of the Gvul. The Ein Sof could be expressed even within a Tzir of Gvul. In Yoni Apnimi of that Gvul is not just Gvul. It's that the Ein Sof could even be in a Tzir of Gvul. We're not being shayl of the Tzir of Gvul. You understand what I'm saying? We're saying there's a person, and the person is, the Rebbe says here, dam. The person there's mitzad the teva of an adam with a guf. The teva of a person is, let's say, he could be misavet in yanam of the divrei heter, hepechavakus. What's the kavanah? As a blind, he should give us in a smakim teyashes? Or that person, which mitzad tiva, is in a eifin that there's not mufrich. Chet, let's say, so stehen in a weg that nicht the lukus should be agifrich. The tnua that on the lakus can resign not only mitzad the tnua because there is no mitzias. In yani apnimi of mitzias is to express that even in a form of mitzias is what's the yani apnimi of that mitzias? The ain't stuff of the air. I'm saying the tzir, the way it looks at the end of the day is that there's a person that this slave mitzad the nature of this heart lochor of gedav zan in yanim of hepech holocaust, and on the pile his whole chayis is a lukus. What's the pshat? The kavanah should be a makim, and this makim shouldn't be tevis makim. He shouldn't function with the agbalas of his mitzias, but he is a mitzias a makim. But he shouldn't function according to the agbalas chitzenis of his mitzias. what's the Nekuda happening is? Because the whole this makim is that the Lamaila Manakim could also come in. That's the Chatchila, the whole instance is. If Inyani was Gvul, Inyani was makim, this Inyan would never be able to happen.
Why is that different than Chazakim came bottom?
That's something else. There's a Nekuda, L'chatchila ain't stuff involved. That's not that the Rebbe is Mechalik there in the Sikha. You remember, the Rebbe is Mechalik there, that L'chazakim came bottom is that there's a Nekuda, L'chatchila is very Nizbatal the Metzias HaGvul. There you're saying, you look at him as a limited thing, he's really not limited. He's ain't stuff, Ernish Mugbul. There's Dr. Anders. You're saying that he's not a Masayim V'chetzi. You look at him as a small little. He's not a small box. He's Chazakim Kemi Bottom. You're saying there's a Nekud in the Nivra where there's Nisbatal together on Nivra. That's Chazakim Kemi Bottom. The Eid is Meir, and it's Nisbatal together on Gvul. That's how Derech Rebbe single Mata in Tachlis. There's a Nekud in Welt where the bleak Vul of the Eid shines. Kameshu. It's a Herzach bleak Vul. Here's the Mensch bleibt in seinem Metzius. The Mensch bleibt Gvul. And b'yachadem zeh, his kashas to Lakus is not limited according to the way Adam Gashmi should have been miyuchad. If his gather would be a Gashmistic mensch, good, he could use his heart for chveis divrei heter, the type of setter, and he could use it to daven to the Eibishter. But he can't be an Eifin that as his whole sein ganze Indian soll sein a Lakus. What does the Maggid say? The Eibishter makes him someone what? B'chdei is chaber, the mensch will learn ein zach with Neibishter. Ein zach with Neibishter, but the Metzias Halev Hagashmi is that it can be mis'avet taiva in Elam Hazeh. We're learning tiny these days. The Nefesh Bahamas said etzem tivei, or the Agash mystic heart could enjoy a shtik of flesh echet. That's what's pshat mischaber. That the probably should decide that he should heart for Abbas Hashem, or his ganze mitzias is to be one with the Eibishter. So his whole mitzias should be one with the Eibishter, but in the same iskashas as lifnei tzimtzum. That there's no mitzias outside of Elikus. But very zok there's like a mitzias outside of Elikus. Because lechatchila there's nothing, or there's a mitzias of a leiv of basar agashmi, dibur ma'aseh of an adam agashmi, and this person kol inyani is elikus. That's the kavanah said. That's the kavanah said. From wann stammt es in primis inim, because the adam lamata is takel chatchila. Inyani is not gvul mamish. Inyani is, for the way that I was making mavar here, that it's the head rakbal of the air that he can also be in a tzir of mitzias, also be in a tzir of hell.
We're not talking about
This one is almost. That's his almost. You were saying a different word. In Yoni of the Gvul is to bring out that the bleak Gvul could also be Gvul. It's a different
We're trying to bring out an Ilui in the R, not an Ilui in the Simsum.
That's an Ilui. What do you mean? That's an Ilui Neisef in the Simsum. If the Ein Sof of the air was limited to the gather of Gilui, so then Gilui means, what does Gilui mean? Bleak Gvul b'Metzias. He's saying with what is with a regular Metzias. In Vaz Bashte that this is his inner, let's say, is Bleak Gvul. That's his property, he's Bleak Gvul. In a property of Gvul that comes to Shtam. It's something else. But if the heirs is Mevatal, the Amitis Ein Sof of Elikus, that his Ein Sof is not limited to be in any tzir of Bleak Gvul. The tzir of Gvul is also expresses Ein Sof. Not that even in Gvul you're going to find Bleak Gvul. The tzir of Gvul Gufa is an expression of Ein Sof. That's l'malama that gets. Even the tzir of Metzias is expresses the ultimate Ein Sof that Allah Hayamakom Amidas Elims. You heard the meaning? Es kam a praten mit lassen wir sein noch einmal in ein wenig.
We're saying that Lechatchil is the silence of Sha'ifim.
The Chatchila, that's the Tzimtzum. What's the pshat that comes with Tzimtzum? So one ifin is can stehen behalten, or that even Tzimtzum, even Gvul could express Ein Sof. What's the pshat that the urn is a Masayim V'chetzi? It's a regular Masayim V'chetzi, or that the fact that the Eibishter is beyond space could be expressed even in a form of space. You could be a Masayim V'chetzi and still not be Teves Malkim. So you could be a Metzias Ha'adam, which mitzad the tzir chitzoni, he could be misave, he could have a shaykhas to hepech holocaust. He's not a malach ruchni gewesen in elam asliyenim. He's a mitzvah shadam lat. Can essen kechveis. He could be misave tave hepech holocaust. And that person should at least ached as a schaber mit nebish. What is the schaber mit nebish? That kol inyani should be holocaust. So who is it that kol inyani is holocaust? A malach which latchila is a shaykhas holocaust, or a mitzvah shel adam lamata is one unit holocaust. Wie kommt das vor als Azar? Wie wird Azar sagt, that a Adam betziyure lamata has a dvekas to lekus, but dugmas the dvekas of that not stamazay, he decided to use his hand to put on tefillin. He comes to a state that kol in yoniv his hand is to put on tefillin. Kol in yoniv is the shamash eskein. See, one even is the only thing that exists is the shamash eskein. It says, not the only thing, the chitzeni is stamazay a person. The fact that the lekus is full of adayu is ain't sof. And what's the is ain't sof? Even a mitzias, kol in yoni is to ares bringen a viful the fact that Ein Levade is Ein Sof. That even the tzir of Metzias is in Yonah Primi is to bring out the big vault there. We don't have to sit here.
Interesting that this is
The Mala de Ketz means.
Mata.
Achamol, the Mata is Gilui Hablig Volt. You're not realizing that because
It's another step.
Gilui it's not another step. The Rebbe brings many times. How are you going to, there's Metzias of a Velt? Two ways to be Mechaber Velt with Holocaust. One even is, you say, it's a Tzadik of Nasi Yechai. The Tzadik is like the Neshama. Yid sees that, he sees the Neshama. So then his, a person in front of a Tzadik God, the battle. Mitzad the Geidel the Gvul becomes his battle. That's one unit. The Mata in Tachlis says that there's an Akudah that the bleak Gvul of the is Meir Vigilui Acharat Tzimtzum. It's not a Inyan. He was saying, Sinish Meir Vigilui. Severt a Mensch. Severt Dibur Amaisa. Severt a Mensch. If there's a person, and it's a Herzach Nish bleak Gvul, could that person be one with Holocaust? Could that person be one with Ein Sof or not? Saying no. A person, a Metzias, cannot be one with Ein Sof. If the person with Vern is battle, Yamot can sein Holocaust. The Maamar in the Ketz is a higher Ilud. It can sein a Mensch, when a Mensch Mugbal, mit Meach V'Lev, and this person can be Mechuber with Aleph, with Aluv Shalayla, with Ebershter. That's a deeper Ein Sof than higher than the Geder of Gilui. Geder of Gilui means that in Vasbash, the Eid is Mein Amar. But in Vasbash state, what in Vasbash state, the fact that the Ebershter is Blikvol, that he, in the Geder of Gilui, the Geder of Gilui means that Lepoil Mamish, where there's a tzir of Blikvol. What does it mean there's nothing else besides the Eibishter? In Gilui it means literally there is nothing else besides the Eibishter. There should be something else. There should be something else besides the Eibishter. There should be a tzir of something, which misad is tzir, could be a mitzias. And meyachadim zeh calling on is alakut. That's kener zayin mitzad Gilui. Mitzad amitis ein sof, which is expressed in the dafka in the kava helim, he's not limited to be dafka naifin of heder mitzias. Sidon mitzias. And this mitzias is the same bittul of vekas than the heder mitzias, than the matzah of lifnat tzimtzum. So look at the tzir of makim or emin amida. There's makim, and that makim is not Teves makim. There's makim which is muchad with a malam makim. That's a whole different Indian.
What is the migrants? The migrants the Kavan or the Helm?
That's a whole different element. So that in such a that's a massive difference. The difference is if the fact that the Eretz Elam is that he's able to be present in a hidden way, then he's not shaykhas to the Malkim. And then b'shtei the Ilui. The regular of the Mile of Helam is that the says in Torah that the Eir could be in a eifin of his Kaldos Batzmasa. The Eir could be in a eifin even though the place that he's in. He could be present even though he doesn't relate to the place. That's a chidush gadol ma'id. But then the place is not shaykhas to him. And if you're going to want the Makim to connect to there, how are you going to have to do? The Makim will have to be in his battle. It should be Begilui. That means in the Makim, it's a Chayr Nelukus. Vivet Zayin. Shemer Belik Von, the Kvol will be in his battle. Or saying something else. There's a Tzir of Makim. That Tzir, Kameshu B'Tziyurei, could be in his Achat Nelukus. Not Kameshu B'Tziyurei. You're saying that Makim, a person Kameshu B'Tziyurei, could be in Nelukus. The way we look at it is, the person Kameshu B'Tziyurei, the way he's a person which is Mesugel to like dirt Nelam Hazeh, you know what I'm saying? When Yetzim Gashmiz is not a stitter to this word. You heard the meaning? I'm saying what's this in Uftu, you don't have mitzvah the Indian of Gilui of there. You see the Lashon over here. You have the Rebbe's Lashon, you have the Lashon of this, what is this? This is interesting. All these different Katres and what I'm getting in my hands over there. But the Rebbe listen to this. Wie kommt das vor? Wenn es nach Maß, bis wann die Geräte, bis wann es wird nimmt sich ad Adam, dass sie Yosa Adam achtet zum Akdish Wort. Von der Verstand geht zu mir Raben, das an ihnen, aber das wird heller machen heller. Aber nicht, was geworden ist, es soll das bleiben, nur so nimmt sich werden dolle Mate dort, wo sie gefindt sich der Adam. Und soll nimmt sich werden zusammen Eifen und das soll peilen in dem Dalit Mem, Ados soll sich mischaber sein mit dem Aleph im HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Means the soll zukommen, lamata mata in Eifen. They were saying the flow of the Indian, that there's a pale and even on the Dal member the person lamata, should be mischaber sein mit dem Aleph. He says there, but the Funden Zetman, man, because nicht nur in Yoni, das ist a Helm, es ist nicht scheicher zu der Ort, in welcher sich nicht allen. It's not that he's an Eifen of Helm, that he's not scheicher to the Makam of the Metzias. And that would, what would be the Havana in that? Manish, because Mitzad Gilui, there's no Metzias. And Mitzad Helm, so he could be bis Almas. It's nicht das. It's a very dirt, Eis Achtus. When Azah Eifen bis in a Eifen Pnimi. You see, what's the pshat in a Eifen Pnimi? What would the Eifen Pnimi? Means if it's Mitzad is Galus of the Ein Sof, so it's not that the Metzias Adam Kamesha who was as Achtus Holocaust. It's by from Makif. The air was Meir, and because of the fact that the air was Meir, the Tachtim was saying this Ratzin is Makif. Why is Ratzin Makif? Because it forces Devar. It controls Devar. Not that the Seichel is Masig the Ratzin. The Seichel doesn't understand the Ratzin, but the Ratzin is not pale in a way that the Seichel is Masig and becomes Kfir Ratzin. The Seichel is Seichel, and the Ratzin controls the Seichel. That's called Eifem Makif. A Inyan Naila is Meir. She says Inyan Naila is Meir, the Tachtin is Mizbachel. That's not a Pula Pnimis. Pula Pnimis is that the Tachtin Kameshu B'tziyurei Ervertazeh. So if Ervertazeh, what are we dealing with? Adam, Daled Mam. They say Dam. So what does it mean Vefim Pnimi? Then it's Be'erach to the person. So Be'erach to the person means that what? That he's going to be always in the Sinas Vakum L'Mitzias. That's not a Keli to the That's not Chibur with Aleph. Then he's Chatchil is Mitzias. We're saying there's Dam Lamata, but the Dam Lamata is Mischaber with Aleph Lamayla. So what's Taka the Pshat? So there's Taka Chilik over here. That's what I'm saying when they get to Makkah. There's one way, you have, this table is simply space. It's limited in the definition of space. This table cannot be any Benamid. In Yoni is Makim. If in Yoni is Gvul, then he's Gvul. So you have a Metzias that in Yoni is a physical heart. A physical heart could be in this Avet, could enjoy flesh. Not even Mitzvah Mitzvah. But what if you have a physical heart, that Kol in Yoni of this physical heart is to bring out that the Eibishter's Eir, means the fact that Hu Levadi Hu, is not limited to be in a tzir where there's no heart. Even where there's a metzias, is Darten Echet can onkom in the Rebbe. That's what you want to bring up. And that's in then that, when this Indian is Gala, there's a metzias of a late Gashmi, which is Edim and Amida, which is it's Kashas Talukus, it's not limited with the Gedarim of metzias. This is not Kelim. Kelim is in Yoniv Gvul al Gvul. What the Rebbe is saying here, there's a Gvul which comes inside Kelim. Gvul mitzat Kelim is a gather of Makim. Not Makim Chinyani, which is mechuber with Lamayla when a Makim. Here that I was saying there's Metzias Ha'adam Lamata, which is Me'uchat with an Aleph. Erfert nicht das. You heard the minutes here, this is Nevea Mitzad. This Indian could only be Mitzad Etzem. Mitzad Gilui means that the Musik, let's say any, you say a regular mitzvah. A person, what I'm saying is a simple thing. A person understands something. Mensch versteht das Wort. Could understanding be in a form of hergish? The seichel is a limited thing, and the inyan which is mitzad seichel is limited to the properties of seichel. It's not going to be in a different property. So eir is gilu. So when elokus emanates, so hulavadi of angel lost it. But if you have a mitzias of a physical mitzias, a physical guf, that's not a keli to that's a stir. Mitzad etzem, the Ein Sof is not limited to be that kind of form of Hedra Metzias, of no Metzias. Even Metzias could be a keli to this Hedra Metzias. Saying, how do you understand L'malam and Amakim? L'malam and Amakim in Gilui cannot come in Makim. There should be a Messiah v'chetzi, and that shouldn't be Teves Makim. That cannot be Mitzad L'malam and Amakim of Eir. Because Mitzad L'malam and Amakim of Eir means the fact, in Vaz Bashteit, the fact that it's not limited to Makim. That's practically his property. He's something, they say whatever Gashmi is Mugbo. The Eir is not Mugbo. So if he's not Mugbo, how could he come in? How could it be present in the Ramasayim V'chetzi should not be Mugbo? But if you have something which is in Muhusay, is L'mayla and Amakim, on Hakbalis, in what is expressed, that the fact that he's Mushlo from Makim is without limits, that even when he comes in a space of Makim, his Inyan can be expressed. His L'mayla and Amakim can be expressed. So his L'mayla and Amakim is not in a limited Eif. That's Mitzad Ein Sof, which is higher than the regular Ein Sof of Eir, of Gilul. Huh? That's the Nukod of Helen. It's that there's Galus Eir, so there's him.
Just because say also Zitzich Lashon? Lashon is before my Lashon.
That's his alus of the air and the etzer. If the air would be mugdar in the Gdarim of Gilui, so he cannot be in a Eifin where the Metzias is also built in Metzias. That's kind of that. Actually, that from Zen the Sichen Chilike innovating because there's a strong Lashon there. No one has these. You have these machine because there's a certain Lashon there that's quite. All the other pages that are open, you delete it on the side.
Where's
Chilike. If the other remembers the Balpez, no, it means we can do one of the Lashon.
Which one?
Aleph, I have it. It's a famous Sicher. Rabbi would always teach it Friday night. One of the schools used to teach. Huh?
Is your Nachman?
Oh, so you remember the Sicher?
Sure.
Oh, listen to what it says. The Rebbe attaches the third Eif. First Eif is, listen good to the Rebbe. The first Eif, the second Eif is, Mitzad dem was bei ihm leicht, the Nishtarg of the Neshama which is higher than his Guf. And b'meile, the Metzias HaGuf wird this battle. That's the Nekudas HaDvarim. Then the third Eif is, at the head of Rashinoi, the fact that the Guf is not Mishtane, is nicht blaze Mitzad the Neshama. Nur als es wird der Herd in Guf, in alle seine Prote, als sehr ganzer Innen ist, auszudrücken dem Ili von der Neshama, wie sie hat nicht kein Hagbolles, und kennt sich der Feier verbinden, mit der Guf Gashmi am Mishtane benifse. In Yoni, if the Guf is to bring out, how the Neshama has no Hagbolles, and Mele, his Inyan could also be mechuber with a Guf, which is a Mishtane. That's in Yoni of the Guf. Why did the Neshama come connected to himself to a Guf? In Yoni of the Guf is to Eisdrücken. This is the Rebbe's Lashon. Sein ganze Inyan ist auszudrücken, der Ili von der Neshama, wie sie hat nicht kein Hagbolles, und kennt sich der Feier verbinden, mit der Guf Gashmi. The fact that the neshama of a yid can be mlubish in a guf, and still be a chsidish yid, the neshama can meir zen. What is that? Is in yoni of the guf is to bring out the heder akbal of the neshama. It says, is dan, the heder ashinoi, it says, heyeses in the yoni guf alein. Was endet sich bechitzeni, es wird entpflegt, as zeir inyan pnimi, is dafke auszudrücken dem Blickwolf von dem heder ashinoi von der neshama. At dem Bild im Mishana von der neshama kennt sich gefinnen eich in sie. You'll see the lesson over here. This is the Nekuda that's here, that's massant the way the Rebbe explains it over here. Don't use that Kaplan. You have to look at it well. I'm saying, the Indian is verstandig zu nicht. We don't understand how the Maamar can be with Makim. That's the problem that because we're mugdar in the gather of Gidli. But Dvekas built the Mugbelis Telukus could also be B'shasmis verbunden mit Telukus. That's it, the mitzvahs. The Lamala Manakim could even be in a tzir of Makim. Bosi in Yana Prim there Makom Lamala Makom. It's not any. But I'm saying, according to this beer comes out, what's the Techen Primi of the Alamis? The Alamis is creating a Makim which is Shalei Behesim Telukus. That's in Kodev Almas. Creating a Metzias of a Nivra Lamata. What's in Yana Primi of this Metzias Lamata? So Eisdriken, that the Ein Sof of the air could even be in such a tzir. Not could even be Bis Almas. That even this tzir could be connected to the Eibishter Anak Bobs.
That's being when you say the lashon that it's pale, that margish, it's pale on the adam. It makes it.
There's on this alaven. Perish asm kol agashmitz. Ve'elo ma'ila adin sof. Makadosh Baruch Hu.
As because the margish, there's the kudah.
You think the pale mamish how it happens?
What's as the whole part we're saying
that's in
that
Yonei Primi of
the
the
whole
Makim.
kudah, the symptom is to bring out another azulas which could be also the lakus, or
that's in
we're saying
Yonei Primi of
the lashon of the lakus is being pale,
Pale.
that it should margish should go out.
That's in Yonei Primi of the Tzimtzum. In Yonei Primi of the Tzimtzum, that the chitzeni is adam should be in his bottom. Shever gashmi yusuf. Not his very ace mensch. His meshichat gashmi should be in his bottom, and kol in yoni should be a lukus. Versus and kol in yoni a lukus. This mitzvah of adam lamata. If it's chanay trachten in them, but I think that's. That's chanay trachten in them. We go a little weiter.
Yeah.
Oh, now this part does definitely be verstehen ich. Lass mal sehen. So in eating so flamaila adikets. I just want you want to forget the last line. Who from prima adam shem perish das mikol gashmis. Ve'ele lamailo masachim makadosh baruch. This ele lamailo means the metzias adam should be meuchad with the inyan the way they are the difference in itself. Good. So in eating so flamaila adikets. Oh, that's in the Psalms. Here's that's in the Psalms. Maybe I can't get by Maamar. Much because this part, I have to verstehen. I'll just say first was steht the technical part. Maybe I my memory was a bit high in was steht dort in the Mekedem higher in so from mal kolachol. In so again begin. Mit sad the matter in so higher begin loy higher makom and says else. What's that in so begin? The etzem is ain't so. Beshas, this is the reality. Begin means this is the factual reality. This is what's present. In Eifenshal Gila means in a factual way. So what's the facts? That there's no mitzvahs. If the facts are there are mitzvahs, that's a stira today. It's kind of a mensch which his mitzvahs is not a mitzvah smuggle for a heipach holocaust. That's a stira today. So said this galus that the factual reality is ein sof in the shtakim mensch, in the shtakim mitzvahs. Ubezeh hoyat simtzum. The lashon from the Maggid. Simtzum beirusa. It means we not from simtzum sein. Again, and what's the kavanah that tzimtzum? That even in a tzir of tzimtzum, even the tzir of tzimtzum is behemshach te'insof. Kuta number one. Then by this part needs a little bit, but we'll see what the Rebbe says. So what's kumteis? This is an important point. You have to remember well. Why is it tzimtzum is a stira to gili? Gili means you say that the factual reality is kach v'kach. That's gili. Gili is not an inyan atzmi. That his mitzias is not limited in any gdorim. Gili means that is a metzias gluya. Is there's galus ha'insav. The which is his mitzad the lifnei tzimtzum means what was the gili? What was the reality that was present lifnei tzimtzum in a morgish tegaif in his galus that hulavadi uvein zalas es nishtakim it's done the Eibishter. That was the facts. The facts was nishtakim Eibishter. Ken rezan metzias. What's tzimtzum? As a herzach nish deremes. Tzimtzum is that the facts there's an asmakim to Eibach halukas. Means the fact that the fact that there's only him, is not expressed openly. It's not the facts on ground don't express that truth. It's bis almas. So the Rebbe says this whole type of gili and helam is only shaykhis and this type of Indian that freer the zach is an eifin of gili, and the gili is a stiratelis, and then it's not an eifin of gili, it's not present, it's not morgish. That's shaykh to say in So his inyani bashtet inyani of gili bashtet in them that he's here in a morgish the gaifin. So you could say he is in a way of morgish, and then he's in a way of not morgish. He's in a way of his almos. In atzvus in shaykh zagen the ganze zach. In atzvus shaykh to say that he's an eifin of morgish. He's a factual being, and then he's a helam being. He's not present in a golitic way. Atzvus lechatchila is not mugdal any of these type of darim. So that started rate as the farangili, and then there's the tziluk hagili. It's not shaykhis atzvus. So the part of the Rebbe is saying over here is, we'll see in the hemshech. The part of the Rebbe is saying is b'meile. There's the inner l'mada and kes l'mada in tachlis in kama dargis l'mada kes l'mada in tachlis. So there is l'mada and kes l'mada in tachlis. Whether if he goes mevared here, l'mada in tachlis is this galuser. Smurgish bligvol is meir, or erin substantive elukus is meir. Then you have ein sof is not meir. Ein sof is in a hidden way, and there's a certain ilu in the fact that he's in a eifin of his almas. That Indian you can only say in The Ma'ila in Ket, he's Tmurda said that he's an eifin of Gila, he's an eifin of Helen. That's shaykh to say by a Metzias which has a tziyur, and you could say how is seichel present with the fact that you understand it? How is a table present with the fact that you touch it? How is Gili present in the fact that you're able to? It's a factual thing. It's Vetnes Gala. And then he doesn't have to be in a murgish to go away. He can be in a way that's beyond hergish. These gedarim you can't say in Atzvus. That Atzvus is in a way of beyond hergish, is in a way of hergish. Atzvus is a whole different thing. He's here. He's not here with any gedarim. The same way the Eibush himself has no tzir at all. He has no gedarim at all. His presence has no definition. In what way is he present? Is he present in a felt way, in an unfelt way? These type of gedarim don't exist. See, use the mashal makamar in minamida. You have a metzias which is mugdir makim. You have a metzias which is not mugdir makim. See, inside the ma'ila and makim, there's no makim. Inside makim, there's no ma'ila and makim. You can say a thing. There's no ma'ila the ma'ila and makim is in a way of expression openly, and then it could be in a way of hiding. Let's say, but the etzem, he's not the ma'ila and makim. He is on gedarim. And if he wants to be here, he's here. It's not shaykh to say gili and hell. He's here in this form or that form. That gets us shaykh to say natzis. We'll see the problem. So what's Lumar is bringing it from? The Indian of Lumar and Kesamata de Tachlis, you have the way the Indian is expressed in the Lepile, in the Gedarim of Gili in that you have his Galus and his Almas And you have the Mala and the Kesamata de Tachlis, the way it's mushrish in the Chelis Atzvus. And there, it's not a tzir of lemata in tachlis is not a tzir of gilui, because dealing in the chelis we're higher than the tzir of gilui. So the lemala adin ketz is not a tzir of gilui, and the mata adin tachlis is not a tzir of gilui, and the lemala adin ketz is not a tzir of helen. So the fact that the Frierdiker Rebbe teaches that the lemala adin ketz haste this almost tmuras gilui, so meret out with the inyan of lemala adin ketz lemata adin tachlis is expressed within the inyan of within the inyan of gilui, not the way it is in the sheish. So there, in Chassidus, where dort is in Mevar, the inyan of lemala adin ketz lemata adin tachlis, the way it is in Etzem, the way it is in Yechelis. Nicht das retten in Maamar Tavshin Yud. Because if das retten, because in Tavshin Yud retten that what lemata adin tachlis gilui, and what lemala adin ketz tmuras gilui helen. He's matkish in the Maamar there. That lifnat since the air was the gilui. The lemala adin ketz is the stiluk of the air. Tmuras gilui helen. These words tmuras gilui helen are not shaykhs in Yechelis. So the lemala ketz lemata adin tachlis in Yechelis is an under inyan, a higher reif. Und nicht das retten in Maamar Tavshin Yud. That's the parsha that they're saying.
Next parak, you know?
Huh?
Next parak is going to
That Yeshefesh Gadol Benim. Yeah, that is thinking about the way it is in the Eretz of Guf. There is not verstehen wir das.
I guess it's the beginning of the Rebbe's Maamar.
Whatever, it's in the Eretz of Guf. It's a little bit what it says. It says das sagt er, once since the Frierdiker Rebbe is Mevar. There's nothing to do with Teres Ramag necessarily, but once the Frierdiker Rebbe is Mevar, the Frierdiker Rebbe brings doing that. Look at the Frierdiker Rebbe's Lashon. So in the Parshas, the Rebbe clapped Fernanda the Likud of the Ma'ala Adin Kes, the way the Frierdiker Rebbe explains it here. Every prat. The Etzem meaning that Tzimtzum is Shaykhis and Likud it's not a Chiddush. But the Rebbe, the Pashtas, the Rettes is being mefared the Biyun of Ma'ala Adin Kes, the way it is in the Maamar here. But the Kendrick, the Nachabart, but let's see first the Frierdiker Rebbe says, Hinin at Tzimtzum Shoyi Be'erin Sof. What's the Lashon, the Hemshech HaLashon of the Maamar? He says, so there in Siv Gimel, you have it here in the Hagdah being the Lashon. Hinin Lifnat Tzimtzum Hoyi Erin Sof Begilui. You have it here too.
Both of them, they have it in the front.
Lifnat since we're here in Sabigili. This is the figures are more. Good. Lifnat since we're here in Sabigili. Mishkas of its chaim tesh nestel and its solemn or iran pashmal comes. But yet simsum is alam erin sof. So what's the simsum? This almost tmunas gilui. From them versteht man that it's only that the lemay adin ketz is the lemay adin ketz in the way it's nizgal in the erlupai.
But is the ball ending is not in the Frierdiker Rebbe, meaning the Rebbe is bringing out Michelle.
Another prat of Avana, he's speaking kama prat and lemay adin
In
ketz.
contrast with Frierdiker Rebbe, I'm saying.
Yeah, to bring out the prat.
So there's
Rebbe speaks kama prat.
Yeah, something that's very Frierdiker
The
Rebbe.
etzeminion.
First
I'm saying the pashtus. I'm saying the pashtus of the Burma is the Rebbe is breaking down. There's the musik of Ma'ala the Ketz is not only in this Maamar, it's explained in other places. What's unique about the Frierdiker Rebbe explains it here? First of all, Ma'ala the Ketz is hell. Not always the Ma'ala the Ketz is hell, and it's in of Ilui, hell acher hell. And then the Ma'ala the Ketz is the way it's nizgal in the air, and not the way the Ma'ala the Ketz is in Yechelis. There's the Ma'ala the Ketz Ma'ala the Tachas in Yechelis, aber da redt sich nicht wegen dem. Weil jemand hat nicht gerät, the in of hell im Tmuras Gilui. That's the pashtus of Burma. I mean, we can read. This is the pashtus.
And the way it is Begilui in the hell.
The way the tnu of Lamaila Adin Ketz is misgale in the air, in the tzir of air.
So even the second dagger that we explained earlier, that's all inside there.
Yeah. I'm saying is this almost is tmuras gili. This gather that the shas the air is bes almost. So he's not in a way of gili. He's not being expressed. He's in a different form. This almost. He's not even of his almost. There's a ili nifla in them, but he's not in the form of gili. This idea of being in a form of gili or helim is only shaykhs once there's the gather of mitzias. And there's two ways of being. You could be in a place in an expressed way, and you could be in a place beyond expression, invisible, so to speak. But the whole definition of being doesn't exist. He is because he decided to be there. He's not trying to say he's in an open way. If he wants you to see, if he wants you to know about it, to know about it. His way of being doesn't change. His amos over here is he's in an invisible way. There's something that could be in an expressed way, it could be in an invisible way. Atzmus is not in an invisible way. Atzmus is the way he is. Why don't we know about him? He doesn't want. We don't know about him. His being there's no change. Here, what's the figure of the Ma'ala the case? That he's he says someone was visible, and then he could turn himself off. He could be invisible. That's not shaykh to say in Atzmus. It's not but I'm saying the etzem part that he says that Tmuras Giloidu was his almas. Tmuras, the speaking loud, he started speaking quietly. So there's a person speaking loud is going to be heard everywhere. Speaking quietly is not going to be heard. That's something which his presence somewhere has a certain seer. You could be present in an open way. You could be present in a hidden way, in a more subtle way. The Gabi Atzmos, his presence doesn't have a seer. Atzmos is being. He doesn't have to speak loud for you to hear about him, and he doesn't have to speak low. He's not shaykh to say he's quiet or not quiet. He is here because he wants to be here. Doesn't need a title. His being, if he wants you to know about it, you know about it. If he doesn't want you to know, you won't know about it. He doesn't have to make himself invisible. It's another Indian answer. He's not mukdir on the gedarim of Metzias altogether. It's another Indian. So the way the feed the Kedem attaches to this matter, Ma'ala and Ketz, is the Ma'ala and Ketz the way it's expressed in not the way it is. And that's you want to say that there's a certain chiddush here, what's nishta on the regular. That's Kenzen, maybe I'll mention it, but that's not. I'm saying the push the uptouch. But this is by Mloid in Shari Shari. So in there is a Ma'ala and Ketz Ma'ala and Tachlis Yeshnik Meishu B'Sharshe in Atzmos. Shesham, there's in Avichelis. Whatever that means, but there's an Indian of Avichelis where there's the Yecholti Lahoyer and Yecholti Shalei Lahoyer. Steht noch that the Yecholti Lahoyer is Lamata and Tachlis, and the Yecholti Shalei Lahoyer is Lamata and Ketz. So the fact Atzmos is something called Yechelis in Atzmos. As I state, there's the Yechelis which wasn't this Chadish. Yechelis Atzmos. And in that Yechelis you have two Kavim. There's the Yechelis Lahoyer and Yechelis Shalei Lahoyer. But the Shalei Lahoyer, the way it is in Yechelis, is nicht der Indian from this Amos. It's another Indian. That was first that the Yechelis Lahoyer, let's say, is naif and Malakal Amtzias. V'charkach the Shalei Lahoyer is Nasta Tzimtzum. Kizeh Yef Shali is Maamar Kim Be'er. We'll skip this line for a second. It's not up okay. But look at this lashon here. The Be'er Shaykh Leimer is Pashtus. Shaykh to say that he's in a form of his pashtus, his offer, his begilu. But mele, if he's bispashtus, he could be tmurazeh, he could be in a different way. He could be behelim. So he could be open and he could hide himself. But in Atzos Kamen Zagan is in the form of his pashtus. I'm a face wegen them, nicht weil oder me face nicht wegen them. It's not that steht in Azatzir as I'm musig in the shaykhs. V'lechein inyan zeder shetzin zum elen nicht amakem b'chol v'reikem upane. Rak ba'er. זה שמקודם בהיה בגילוי, ממעל יש מקום החול, באיפן שלא היה מקום למציא סילמס, זה דרב אבהירס, הנה אחר כך באיפן דהל. אבל המור דה בגילוי גם אחר הצמצום ובכל מוקים, so the shaila is, if the Rebbe just wants to say the etzem inyan, that tzimtzum is only, that the musik of tzimtzum tmuras is pashtus, is only shaychas in ומילא, the nekudah of the ma'ala den ketz was mereda, is ma'ala den ketz in was davon as if Meir sein benegert to the fact that the Tzimtzum wasn't pale in Moir, and Moir is begilui gam achar Tzimtzum. Of course, it's not.
That went to the next part of it.
Next part of it.
The Maamar, that is explaining how there's no Tzimtzum in Oir and in Tzimtzum itself.
So this could be completely fun. Well, okay, we can say noch a Teitchen dem can say. But maybe אבל Moir begilui gam achar Tzimtzum b'chol makim. Buru b'teir eish zoma shishim shom shogeg b'fikei afilu v'vinoshim v'tinekes. The Kavanosam ba'im l'mshim shemayim arei la'atzmus hamor. שזה מה שהמור נמצא בכל מקום. הנה נצמצום רק באר, שתמור הזה שהיא בגולי, הרי אחר כך הוא בהלם. This sucks that it's a hundred later. But it happens to be Stamazay. First of all, there's a Fulmaider sign over here, but everybody knows if you know that Yeshua is Begani mit Gimel, to Mogolen. So Maamar Yeshua is Begani Toshin Gimel, dort steht that the fact that Achar Tzimtzum, the Eir HaKavka, the Meir in Welt, that's mitzad, because Tzimtzum at Megalik ben Demar. Tzimtzum is that Tzimtzum is Galus Ha'atzmos, which is Ha'atzmos could be Chibur of Metzias and built Metzias. The Keli and Eir and Keli. Okay, but that's the Derech Remes, but it's not.